So one of the most commonly asked questions among marketers in social media is, when is the right time to post? And unfortunately, there isn't a really simple answer to that question because it depends on who you're targeting. So if you are working for a company that has a global or an international audience, your audience is probably on Facebook at different times during the day. And if you look at, in general, how a target audience might behave, they might be on Facebook or on Twitter or on LinkedIn at different times throughout the week. So it's really important, and rather than looking for the easy answer, which is something like you should always post on Tuesday afternoons, to actually make that kind of examination yourself and reach a conclusion: when is my target audience on social media and willing to engage with you? Because that's two different things. They might be on Facebook, they might be ignoring your content anyway. So it's really important to determine for yourself what works for your company and your type of content towards your target audience. Now, having said that, there's a lot of handy tips and there's a lot of best practices that you can make use of. So there's all kinds of, depending on what part of the world you're in, there's all kinds of suggestions on when to post and at what time during the day, what specific day of the week. But it can't replace the fact that you need to look into this yourself. Now, you might use the best practice to get started. So if you're in Denmark or in Scandinavia, one thing that I've tried with some success, if you work with LinkedIn, for instance, is to post on a Sunday evening. For some reason, the working week seems to begin on Sunday evening rather than Monday morning nowadays. So that's something that you might trial and have success with. Where others are saying that on Facebook, for instance, post on a Wednesday morning or a Wednesday afternoon. So by all means, do that as a start, but try different times and different days throughout the week, because that will actually determine, and you will get the feedback fairly quickly, the data that will enable you to actually know when is the best time to reach your target audience. Now, one important question to ask yourself is, what happens if my content doesn't fly, doesn't create traction on a social media network? And doesn't matter if you're on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Twitter, you will notice that fairly quickly. And one of the reasons why it might not create traction is that for some reason you're not creating engagement fairly soon, which is one thing that the social media networks algorithmically are looking for. They want to see that your content is creating some kind of activity, and then they will put more effort, more resources behind. So if you're not getting that kind of engagement, it might be a good idea to actually withhold it or to draw it back and test run it again. But one other thing that we tend to forget is that we need to ensure that we're actually making good content. So it goes back to one of the fundamentals of good marketing, is to actually understand what your target audience is looking for and what kind of format works and what kind of level of complexity, whatever, that will actually create engagement. So there's a lot of things that you can learn about social media networks in terms of how early you need to get some kind of feedback or some kind of traction and what to do if not. But the fundamental is still there. The better content you create, the more likely you are to actually see some kind of engagement on social media. So if you really want to make sure that you're posting your great content at the right time, the best way to do that is to trial it. So you start off with perhaps what you've learned or best practice around what time of the day or day of the week, but then you learn from there, and you will also learn that different types of content, different types of formats will work better at certain points during a week. So that's another thing that you trial. So the more you actually test drive your content on the various social media networks, the better the results are going to be, and you're going to learn an immense amount from doing that. You're not just going to learn about what's the right time of day or day of the week. You're also going to learn more about your target audience or the group that you're trying to reach. How are they engaging with it? Are they more prone to comment? Are they more prone to sharing at certain times? So when you've learned that, you can apply that to how you use your own content. And then, of course, you will discover even more. But that's the really key thing to start with, trying and testing.